Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Digital Combat Simulator flying with OverKill, the Mi-24 Hind. And I want to start by real quick apologizing for any echo you guys may be picking up on. We are getting ready to move at the end of August. Our landlords are selling the house, so we're hopefully going to be trying to buy our own. So, of course, the house is in disarray, sound dampeners, things like that coming off the walls and whatnot. So please forgive the echo. It's not permanent. It's just, unfortunately, a necessary evil right now. But anyway, so today what we're going to be talking about is how to use units as waypoints in the Hind. Now, this could be combat location, search and rescue, things like that. It really depends on whatever you want to do. You could even set it up as a FARP location if you want, as far as using it for guidance. So let's talk about how we need to do that. Now, actually, before we get into the how, let's talk about some things you need to be aware of. We're going to be using the AM radio traffic. And what that means is that anytime that we're dealing with that, we need to be paying attention to line of sight. Okay, if you are buried behind a mountain or something like that and you have a signal that you're trying to transmit, you're probably not going to be able to pick it up. So line of sight is still something you must be aware of when using this particular method. However, you can have up to 10 different locations by doing this method, which can make it pretty easy. What you'd want to think about as you're drawing these out is the placement of your helicopters. You know, if you could have a group of helos down here, a group of Hinds up here, and so forth, and each with their own locations. The biggest thing, you can even be reusing frequencies as long as they're not too close together. The distance of frequencies varies on, like I said, it's based on line of sight and power. And we'll talk about power in just a second, but you can get anywhere from 50 to 100 miles away from it. It really depends on the scenario and the environment. So it may require some testing. Now, in order to set the frequency, the frequency range you're going to want to be aware of is between 20 and 59.9, and we are going to be using AM modulation. Now we have that, let's talk about how to set it up. We can set any unit we want down, okay? Any unit that's a ground unit that can transmit. I'm just using an infantry M4 here. Now you're going to want a couple of commands. You're going to want to perform command, set frequency, okay? And you just do it, you get to this menu by hitting the add button here, for those of you who are unaware. Set the frequency that you wish. So I'm using 25 megahertz, again, modulation AM, and I'm setting to 100 on the power, 100 watts. And that, I don't know that going above 100 does anything. I've not been able to get it to do much. And we have 3 different locations here. And what's going to happen is as our helicopter intercepts these trigger zones, we're going to get a big puff of smoke coming from the ground, indicating that we have reached our destination. So that's just for demonstration purposes. Now, one of the things I've done with this particular unit, if you wanted to use it as a combat location, okay, now you can do all kinds of crazy things. First off, you can hide them in trees. You can, make them a axis control. It really doesn't matter. But one of the things I recommend doing if you're going to be using a friendly unit, as we have, like if we were making this a combat zone, right? We put a bunch of red vehicles and armor here, okay, but we have a blue soldier here. One of the other things that you're going to want is the invisible mode and immortal on. That invisible means AI traffic will not be able to see it, therefore it can't attack it. And that's just AI. AI will not be able to see it. And then obviously it can't be killed in case you're releasing ordnance in the area. You don't have to worry about friendly fire and killing your own vehicle. Now, the other thing that you're going to want here is this transmit message. Okay, so again, perform command, transmit message. And one of the things that I recommend, and I'll leave a link to CTLD down in the description below, is you download CTLD. So here's my CTLD folder, CTLD master, and these 2 files will be in here. You have the beacon, or you have beacon silent, which is what I'm using. Has absolutely no audio, it's just dead air. And I'm using that because all I'm interested in is the using it as guidance, right? So I don't want to have that tone playing in the background because you can hear whatever you play here, so keep that in mind. Okay, so each one of those is going to have that. Oh, and the other thing that you're going to want there is you're going to want to make sure you turn on loop. Okay, so you have your perform command, transmit message, pick your audio file, and tell it to loop. Okay, that way, because if it stops playing the message, the frequency will obviously no longer be trackable or traceable. All right, so now that we have that, let's talk about our helicopter. So then the helicopter configuration is very, very simple. We're just going to come here to the radio antenna menu, come down to the RA28 or the R828, and we're going to want the channels to be identified. So what we've done here is he's transmitting on 25, he's transmitting on 26, he's transmitting on 27. And so we have channel 0, 25, 26, 27 working our way down. And if we want another one, it could be 28. Okay, so you could have it, coming back to a FARP, for example, doing a loop, however you want to set this up. You could do a bunch of different things. You can get really creative with this particular capability here. Okay, something else you can do if you want to add more waypoints, I'll give you guys a real quick example of something on how you can get really creative with this. All right, if you want to track a whole bunch of different waypoints, you could actually repeat this sequence. So let's say we just did 25, 26, 27, 28, blah, blah, counting all the way down. Okay, by the time you reach the end of that sequence, so let's say the end of the sequence here is here 25, we got 10, 35, it would be over here, right? Or let's say it's probably further. 35 could probably get you over here. Then you could do 25 again over here, because from here, okay, over to here, the odds of you being able to pick up this frequency are slim to none. Okay, they just don't transmit that far. But if they do, again, you can mess around with it. You can play around with things and really get creative with it. But anyway, just a real quick idea there, give you guys an idea of what I'm thinking here. So now let's go ahead and take a look at how to use this in the cockpit now that we have our radio channels configured and our troops are configured. Cockpit here, let's go ahead and get rid of the seat. And what we're going to be looking for is our radio stack down here at the bottom left. So up here, we have the PA28. This is black box right up here. You can see channel 0 is already set, but what you're going to want to do, and this is just a good habit to get into, I don't know if this is a bug at the moment, but if I don't touch this, I found that I get 50% success rate. So what I do is a right click to go to channel 1, left click back to channel 0, okay? Then I'm going to hit the auto button here. We're just going to tap this and we're going to watch for a green light here. This is what had happened before. So we're going to go to channel 1. I'm going to press the button. There we go. Let's go back to channel 0. Okay, and press it again. So if you run that, make sure you see that green light. And this is just on the initial start that you have to go back and forth, okay? So once we get that green light, we're good to go. Now you can turn the squelch on if you want. You have volume control, just as you would with any other radio. Next step, getting the HSI, or heading indicator, excuse me, this guy right here, to track our radio frequency. And what it's going to be using is this course needle right here. Okay, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to switch this over to the ARC-U2. I recommend doing this first before we continue with the rest of the steps, and I'll tell you, and I can tell you why in a minute. If you see this indicator's on the set position, that means the set wheel is controlling the course needle. We want it to be the ARC-U2, so we're going to flip it over. Then we're going to come back to our radio stack here, and we're going to set our ADF VHF to the VHF2 compass. Okay, so this is ADF compass, this is VHF2 compass. We're going to flip it over and you can see PA28 right there. Now if we look back over here, you can see still nothing's happening. So what we need to do is come down to the ARC-U2, and again, for reference, there's ARC-U2 right there. The ARC-U2 is what's actually going to take this radio configuration and track it on the heading indicator. So we're going to flip that up, and now you can see that still nothing's happening again. Now this is a couple of different things that I've seen, and I think these are bugs and they'll be resolved, I'm sure, in time. If we flip our ADF, if you ever run into the situation, you flip your ADF back to the center position and then back on again, you can see now the heading needle is moving and we are pointing at our first location. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and get into an airborne position here and go track some of these locations. Oh, goodness. Now, it's been a while since I've flown, so please no judgment. Everyone needs to be nice. See if I can remember how to do this. It has definitely been a long time. No. What are you doing? Come on, sweetheart. Be nice to me. Be nice. Come on. We're buddies. There we go. We were being so nice to each other before. There we go. Come on, come back up. There we go. Alright. Let's go chase these guys down. And so we're just going to fly straight at our course needle. And the course needle may jump around at times, so if you start seeing the course needle wig out, that's fine, like it just did. Just keep flying your course heading. You know, because the nice thing about this is once you track it, you know, this isn't like you're flying direct, right? This isn't a route. This is a flying direct method. Okay, so as soon as you point the nose at it, that's the heading that you need to maintain. So even if you lose it for a minute, it's fine as long as you maintain the course heading that you were initially tracking. Okay. And how we're going to know when we're getting close is you'll start seeing that the course needle is moving much more frequently. The course deviation is getting more and more significant. And then if it, as the course needle starts to point the other direction, that's an indicator that you have passed over your location. So what we're going to be looking for here is a big plume of smoke as we get close. Such a fun helicopter, it really is. And there's our smoke. So there's waypoint 1. Now let's see about getting on track to waypoint 2. Now this part does require a little bit of hands-on here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put us into an active pause, as I thought I was. Why isn't my active pause working? What's going on here? Okay, what's going on? Okay, we'll do a search. Active pause, left win, left shift, left win. No. No, 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 no. That is not what I told you to do. There we go. Oh, fine. Clear it. There we go. Left shift pause. Alright. Alright, let's go into active pause. There we go. Let's dive down here a little bit. Now what we're going to do again is now we're going to do a right click here to switch it over to channel 2. Give our auto tune a tap. And you can see our course needle is now moving. So let's go track the second one. Again, it's changing rapidly. Good indicator that we are getting close. And there it is. There's waypoint 2. And then one more time I'll show you guys. Boom. So we're switching to our third waypoint. Give that a tap. Course needle is moving. two were pretty close together if memory serves. But this could be really handy if you had 3 specific target locations you wanted to track, right? 3 armor divisions, or convoys or warehouses. This is a neat way to sort of implement a waypoint system without putting too many waypoints in the map, right? And there it is. Alright, so this is just one of the many ways that you can use to navigate the Mi-24 in DCS World. The reason why I like this one the best, like I said, is it gives you room to get creative with it. It gives you the ability to lay units down at a specific location. It gives you the ability to spawn certain waypoints at certain locations. If you want to set up a circuit, for example, of targets. First target area A must be destroyed before B will be active, right? You could set your late activation rather than having that waypoint already existing and live, as you would if you created a bunch of waypoints inside the mission editor. You could have that waypoint be unavailable until the first objective is complete, right? So you can really get creative with this kind of style of waypoint creation. I really like that they have this ability with inside the Hind. So anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this little tutorial. There's plenty more to come with the Hind. I am going to get back into it. I've been missing it. I love flying this helicopter. So there's a lot more coming. I've been practicing some attack strikes and tips on how to effectively attack with the Hind rather than just pointing the nose and flying dead in. There's some actual tactics that I've been researching that work pretty well with the helicopter strikes that we're going to be going over. So stay tuned to the channel, guys. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And as always, stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you in the next one.